Hey guys! All right, well, welcome to tonight's class. Tonight is a break week, so if you've been following us for a little while, we do the Focus class. It's a 5-week class, and it goes over the acronym FOCUS, which is designed to help you rebuild your marriage right now from, oh, I just messed up everything. Right now from the beginning of disaster and take you through the 5 most critical steps that we used to rebuild our marriage from disaster many years ago. And so you can get that information at our website. You can download a free report that talks all about the FOCUS acronym and what it means and all the different 5 steps. And you can get that at wedlockwarriors.com and download it, and it's free, and go over that. But tonight is a break week in between ending the FOCUS class and starting a new one. And we wanted to start the FOCUS class fresh in the new year. So next week we'll be picking up the first week, or the first installment, the first letter of the acronym FOCUS for the new year, and we'll start the cycle up again. So if you're new, this is a perfect time for you to kind of get acquainted with what we got going on, what we can do to help you out in your marriage, and just get used to working with us here through this information technology. So tonight, guys, we're going to just kind of start talking about a concept that many of you that are trying to change your marriage in a positive direction, to make an impact in your marriage to where you're like, wow, things are really changing and I can feel it and this is looking great. There's probably one thing, if you're struggling with that and you're like, man, we're changing, I'm really trying hard, and nothing's really happening, there's probably a few things that you're missing, and that's what we're going to go over tonight in tonight's class. And then, like I said, next week we'll pick up the FOCUS class from the beginning. So we are Jeff and Maggie Nowd. Welcome to Warrior Wednesday. We are the founders of Wedlock Warriors. We are here to help you survive and thrive in the coming year with your marriage, and hopefully repair any damage that has been done and get you guys back on track to a happy, healthy, and wonderful marriage. And so tonight I want to talk to you about effectively changing your marriage for the positive. Or if you're a struggling marriage and you're trying to change it, what can I do? And what are the missing links? I'm going to introduce you to a concept. It's called the pattern of change. Now, the pattern of change is outlined in our report, in our free report at wedlockwarriors.com in great detail. But we're just going to briefly, I'm going to try to keep this really brief, go over it tonight and give you some food for thought and some action steps that you could take with you into the new year, so you know that if I do these things, things are actually really going to start changing for you. So I'm going to introduce you to the pattern of change real quick, or formula for success. I've heard it called a number of different things. In fact, you could see this concept kind of played out in all kinds of different books out there. So in fact, I'll introduce you to a book that really, really explains this concept in great detail here in a minute. But first, let's just take a look at what the pattern of change is, and then I'll kind of break it down for you, and Maggie will get in here on this, and it'll be a real fun time. So here's what it looks like. So this is our really, really high-tech way of showing you something. But this is the pattern of change. Okay, can you guys see that? Okay, there. That's pretty focused. So it's information equals thinking equals action and equals results. So if you are here tonight and you are struggling with your marriage, you are not happy with the results. Here's our other piece of high-tech equipment. You're not happy with the results in your marriage. So most of you out there will start addressing the actions that are giving you the results, which is fine. That's great. We got to change our actions. But that's a temporary fix. If you want to affect positive change, if you want real, I'm sorry, I'm not pointing at you. Like, I'm not that guy. If you want a real lasting change that doesn't just go away, after a few weeks or whatever, you've got to address the cancer that's in the marriage at its core. So if you're okay, so here's a perfect example. If your marriage is sick, or if your body is sick, and you've got pain in your back or whatever's going on, and it's caused by a tumor lodged up against the spinal cord, right? The doctor's not going to give you an aspirin and send you on your way. He's going to diagnose and drill down and find the source of the pain, and he's going to identify that it's a tumor, then he's going to try to extract that tumor, right? It's the same thing with trying to affect change in your marriage. We want to affect the results. We've got to find out why we're getting those results in the first place. So why don't you talk about that for just a second?
Well, good point.
Before I just take over the entire presentation.
Gotta watch
I talk long.
Just even when you're talking about serious things within the marriage, like infidelity, even that is a symptom of something deeper in the marriage.
Right.
So yes, you can address the actions that are causing that result, but you're not going to fix anything until you get all the way back to the beginning, to the thinking that went into it, and ultimately the information that brought you to that thinking. So it's very backwards from what we're taught in society. It's very backwards from what you see around you, because a lot of times we hear people say, well, what can I do? What can I do? How do I make my spouse do this, or how do I make them see it this way? And the answer to that, as we say every week, is you can't make them do anything, but you can change the information that's going into you and making sure that that information is good.
Right.
So the formula that Jeff gave you is exactly right. I mean, if you really think about it, even if you've never seen it before, you have to say logically, well, boy, that makes sense. I mean, it totally rings true. And we've heard it said other ways. I know that there's businesses that we've heard say, define, learn, do, meaning define what you want, learn from somebody who knows how to do that, and then go do what they did. So there's other ways that you can see it said, but it's the same thing. You're looking at where you want to be, and you're getting the information you need to get you there, ultimately.
Right. And so you want to make sure you're getting the information from a valid source. And I think that's the define, learn, do part. Is do the people that you're getting your information, so a perfect example would be like financial information. So if you're wanting financial advice, are you going to go to somebody that's broke and doesn't have a job and doesn't even have a bank account? Or are you going to go to somebody that's got real sound financial acumen and has the fruit on the tree to prove it? That's the person you want to get your information from. And so this little formula here, information equals thinking, action then equals results. The only way to change and to make a permanent change that lasts for your entire life is to address the information that you're putting into your head. The only way we're going to change our thinking that's going to adjust our actions and give us better results is if we drill all the way back and adjust the information that we're getting about whatever it is in our life. And a really good book to kind of get in and really start exploring what this really means to you and how effective it is this book by Jeff Olson. Okay, I'm just going to show you that. It's called The Slight Edge. It's called by Jeff Olson. This book right here, well, if this doesn't convince you that it's real, that the formula never changes, and that it really does work, then I don't know what will. We're living proof that it works. I mean, that should be enough for you right there. From where we came from in our marriage and to where we are today, it's like night and day. It's like completely different. And the only reason that it is different is because we follow the pattern of change. And so the lesson you should take from us tonight is, if you want to affect change, and if you're really like banging your head up against the wall, like, why isn't this working? You know, you might even say to yourself, hey, honey, we're not going to fight anymore. Let's just not fight anymore, right? And that might last for a little bit because you're kind of focused in on it, and you're kind of, I don't know what to say.
But you're trying.
Yeah, you're trying.
It's like a diet. You're trying for a while, but eventually you have to address how you got there to begin with.
Right. You got to address, well, why are we fighting? Okay, well, it's because we're thinking about it this way. Why do we think about that situation this way? It's because the information we have on present right now in our life is telling us to think that way. And so the only way we can change the end game, the result of our life, in this particular example, marriage life, is the thinking, or is to address the information that we're getting on a daily basis about whatever it is, and that is marriage. Now, a lot of you get information from your friends and your relatives and magazines and the internet, which, hey, I know we're on the internet right now. I get that. But there's a lot of junk out there, and you got to be really, really wary of where you're getting your information from, and make sure that the people that you're getting your information from have the results that you want.
Right.
That's the biggest key, I guess, is, you know.
Well, and you might be saying, well, gosh, I don't know anybody that has those results. I don't know anybody that has great finances. Everybody in my life is living in a place that I don't want to be. Well, that's when you hit the books. That's when
Right.
you grab Dave Ramsey, or you grab who's another one? John, what's his name? Anyway,
John,
I can't
John,
remember.
go John, what's his name?
Sorry,
That's the best book.
we've even
John, what's his name?
that's the one we even bought. But there are resources out there
There are.
that will help you. You just have to dig a little bit to find them.
Yeah.
There are people that have strong marriages out there. You just have to dig a little bit to find them.
Yeah.
You know, look beyond your friends and start doing your own research. I can tell you that we have a rock solid marriage, but I am constantly continuing to fill my head with great information about how to strengthen a marriage.
Well, and there it is. It's not an accident. Like, we didn't happen by accident. Let's just say that. Okay, so that is a perfect thing. Like, what was the illustration? You know, if you know,
yeah, I go.
here, and she'll tell it to you.
Yeah.
She's really good at it. But it's not an accident that we ended up where we're at. You know, especially where we started.
Yeah.
I beg you guys, if you're on here for the first time, you've never checked out our website, go read our story. And then come back and say, wow, I'm not that bad. I got a chance.
We should do that.
We've got a chance. You're not that bad. Believe me. You're not that bad. It's hard to imagine anyone worse off sitting than we were. Not that, you know, whatever. But please understand, we get where you're at, and you're struggling, and you're hating, and you're looking on the line, and you're trying to figure this thing out, and everything's just coming down. The holidays just got over, and you're like, we get it. We're recovering from the holidays, too. We had to clean up behind us here about, there was a ukulele and some Legos, and
True story.
yeah, it was, you know, so we get it, you know, we're a family, and anyway, so if you're going to get from point A to B, tell them kind of the illustrated point.
Well,
here.
I just read this, and I think it was in Finding the Hero in Your Husband, and I read multiple books, so I'm saying I think because I didn't write it down before I did this, but she was talking about how you have to know what you want your results to look like. Like, you have to know what you want your marriage to be like.
That would be the defined part.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to know what that is. You have to know that, hey, I want great finances. I want a marriage that I can really talk to my husband. I want these things to happen, or you're not going to get there. And she compared it to going on a vacation.
Right.
And she said, you know, when you go on vacation, you not only know exactly where you're going, but you've got your hotel lined up. You've got everything in place because you've been planning it for months.
You got it on MapQuest.
Right. You don't just...
How many hours is it going to take?
I don't think that you just hop in your car the morning of and say, hey, let's head
towards
west.
Colorado,
Let's head west, and
eventually we'll get there.
hopefully we'll find a good place to stay. That would be absurd. You
Yeah.
would never do that.
No.
You would plan it. And so, you know, that's her whole point. Why would you not plan your marriage? The biggest relationship that you're going to have in your life.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to really think through that, you know, and it goes back, there's that quote from Nancy Lee DeMoss that she says, you know, you spend hours and sometimes years planning your wedding day, and thousands of dollars go into that day, you know, to make sure that the centerpieces are perfect and your dress is perfect and the guys all have the same color vests, but then you don't spend another dollar or another minute planning the rest of your marriage,
How to stay together.
Right. How to be married.
Right. That's perfect. That's a perfect example, you know. And I don't want you to think we're beating up on you. We were in the same boat, you know. The only reason we changed is because the grace of God came down upon us, and it was like, either we change or we're not going to be together. And so, you know, I mean, when you're up against the wall, you gotta make decisions. So hopefully we're catching you guys before you get up against that wall and you're really at that breaking point, because a lot of times you never come back from it. And so the whole idea here is, guys, if you're gonna go to a destination, let's find out, where do we want to go? Where do we want to be in our marriage? What does that look like? And then after you define exactly what it is that you want it to look like, how do we get there? And then how do we get there is finding the people and the information that's going to get us to that destination. It's just a roadmap, guys, and that's what we're here to do. We're here to map out that path for you so you can get to your destination quicker, faster, better, and happier than ever. Guys, we are Wedlock Warriors. Really happy to have you here tonight. We're really excited to kick off the new year coming up with the free focus class. Started brand new next week. It's going to be awesome. We're going to really get in some real depth. So this is a shorter class. So the focus class is a little bit longer. And we're really excited to help you guys out. If you need some immediate assistance, feel free to reach out to us via Messenger on Facebook or email or whatever. And until next week, guys, we're Wedlock Warriors, real life,
Real question.
real answers. We love you guys. Bye-bye.